Another fun word to run with, gustation. Gustation just means taste, your ability to taste. And we have 5 primary tastes. We got sour, sweet, bitter, salt, and umami. Sour just is the indication that something is acidic. So 1 through 7 pH scale. When you feed your kid for the very first time a lemon or a dog or what have you, they get that puckery face that they just can't get rid of. That's because it is that fruit, that citric fruit is acidic. Sweet corresponds to more of the simple sugars. Bitter refers to an alkaline, meaning that a pH of 8 and above. Usually accompanied by bitter is something that is poisonous or venomous. Well, actually poisonous, forgive me. So that bitterness has been developed to help us avoid poisons. Salt. We need salt. We love salt. Adding salt to anything makes anything seem a little bit better unless it's way, way over salted. And then finally we have something that's going to be easy to remember if you just remember its origin. Umami. Umami was a sense that was discovered in the early 2000s, late 1990s. And it's really just sensing something savory or meaty. One particular amino acid that our taste buds really, really like to sense is glutamate. Glutamate is just an amino acid. And when we learned about this stuff, when we learned that we started adding in different food supplements to make things taste just a wee bit better. One in particular is MSG, monosodium glutamate, which indeed it makes it quite addicting. So umami was discovered back in Japan, hence the word umami just means savory or meaty in Japanese. So we do have lots of different types of locations for these sensory receptor cells. Most of them are based together in a taste bud, all of which have some type of receptor, some type of supporting cell, and some type of cell that grows up into both of them. Here's a drawing of it as well as a histological cross-section of one. You'll notice that the basal cells are more based on the outside layer with the supporting cells coming closer and closer, and then the ones, the gustatory cells, actually innervated by these first order neurons. These microvilli are out there to go ahead and sense, and since they are chemoreceptor, just like what's going on in the olfactory bulb, you do need some type, those molecules, those chemicals to be in liquid. If you do not have them in liquid, they will not be sensed. I dare you, you get some sugar, you get some salt, and then have somebody put a little dash of it onto your tongue after you dry your tongue. I guarantee you won't be tasting anything until you get a little bit of liquid on it. Now the gustatory cells, like the olfactory cells, do get exposed to toxins, so they do die off frequently. What happens is these basal cells, these supporting cells there that are helping and taking care of these cells, will eventually take over that role of the gustatory receptor cell, and a basal cell will go ahead and just divide and replace the supporting cell that was lost. Now these taste buds can all be placed or made a part of something called papillae. Papillae can be formed in varying types of regions and structures within the tongue. Here's a nice close-up look of two of them, the two that I really care about, the filiform papillae, which give you that sense of texture, how the food feels. And then there's the fungiform papillae that have a lot to do with the tasting and the sensation. These filiform don't really have taste buds, but these papilla, the fungiform papilla in particular, do. You will notice in some of these drawings that we have that there are different types of papilla too. There's the filiform papilla, that's, a quick little FYI, that filiform papilla, that thing that senses texture, it also has, if you have a cat and you've ever had a cat lick you, it feels like sandpaper, while a dog's tongue doesn't feel smooth. Cats have an exaggerated, or I guess we could say we have a very unexaggerated filiform papilla, while the cats have a very formed one that gives it that sandpaper feel. Foliate papilla, which are these ones found along the border of this tongue right here, they used to have taste buds there, but they sort of die off when we're 2 or 3 years old. The Valete papillae also has some taste buds, and there are taste buds found all around inside our mouth, like on the epiglottis, but also on the soft palate of the roof of our mouth. All of these flavors and sensations, the ability to sense taste, are distributed via the facial nerve, the glossopharyngeal nerve, and the vagus nerve. All of which will come back onto the medulla, which will interact with an appropriate nerve or neuron, which will go ahead and broadcast that information to the thalamus, and then onto the thalamus, onto the insula. Remember that insula has that primary gustatory area. With that, that is the end of gustation. Have yourselves a good day.